Hello guys, and welcome to my channel. If you're watching this, it's probably your first video, because it's the only video that I made that people probably want to watch. And this is hopefully the start of a new series. Might not be a series, because I'm only going to be doing this on gods I know how to really play. And this is a tips and tricks god build, or god guide. So, today I'm going to be doing it on my my first and only diamond, Poseidon. And the reason I'm only going to be doing this on gods I get above mastery 5 or more is because I'm not that good at this game, and I might say things, and if I do it on gods I don't know or I don't have really mastered, then I'm just might get things wrong and I'll leave stuff out. And there we go. So, let's do this. Poseidon. This also, just a side note, this will be a conquest guide. I only ever play Poseidon in conquest. That's a lie. I play Poseidon in Joust, but rarely. I don't like him in other game modes because of his passive. His passive doesn't really have that much of an impact in other game modes, because in Arena, well, his passive, in Arena, it's a very ability-based game. And I'm not going to be using my passive, or I'm not going to be basic attacking all that much. I'm going to sit in back line, I'm going to build cooldowns, and I'm going to wait, I'm going to farm a little bit, and I'm going to use my 3, and then I'm going to ult. So yeah, his passive isn't very useful. So, let's get on to it. Poseidon, god of the ocean. It's pretty cool. Yeah. It's my first and only diamond. So let's get on to the tips and tricks. Poseidon's, first ability, Tidal Surge. It's pretty much part of his wave clear combo. You really want to save this. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna start on the passive. I'm not right. Okay. Poseidon's passive is pretty much a movement speed buff. And that's kind of it. It gives you the extra 20% damage at max tide level, which actually is really good, but I never think of it in game. And so when I use it, I really only use it for the movement speed. Poseidon's a god that if you're gonna play him in Conquest, you're gonna need your passive up. And so this is mainly outside of laning phases. Once laning phase is over, you're gonna want to level up your passive on camps, minions when you're interchanging. Poseidon's, most people don't think of him like this, but he's actually very mobile. His 2 and his passive, if combined together, can really increase your movement speed. And he can travel a lot, and his ganks are really good. I'll explain that later. There's 1. This is mainly just a combo between his 3 and his 1, which is your main wave clear. You want to use your 3 first, and once the minions are relatively half health, you use your 1. It'll clear them instantly. And let me tell you something. Your damage on this, once it's at max rank, is really good. People often think of this mainly as just a wave clear. I often only use it for wave clear, but this does a lot of damage. Combine 3 and 1, and it can deal half a person's health. So, oh yeah, I completely missed something. Using abilities lowers your passive. Abilities, so, for example, your 1 reduces your tide level by 30%. So that means there's a bar. On, in-game you'll see a bar. And, well, it will, when it's at max rank, is when you go fastest. And then when you use this, you lose tide, and so you go slower. So yeah, that's kind of it. This 2 was just a damage increase, mainly, and then a movement speed increase. Using your 2 makes it so you shoot out 3 of your basic attacks instead of just 1. And it gives you a movement speed buff also. And main thing about this, I mainly don't use it for anything but the movement speed, because the passive of it increases your basic attacks. It doesn't actually. People get this mixed up so much. It does not affect towers. You'll still the extra 2 basic attacks that come out of it will not affect any objective like a tower or a phoenix. It doesn't. They don't. They don't. The people always confuse this and get mad at me in game, and I'm just like, it doesn't. The extra basic attacks don't affect stutters. Nice. Don't affect objectives. So yes, movement speed increase 25%. Combine that with your changing tides, your passive, and you can get up to 30% extra movement speed. No, 35% extra movement speed. And then combine that with boots. He's a very mobile god for no leaps and dashes. So yes, moving on to your 3. Your 3 is a ground target attack that pulls people in the center. It's just pretty. Okay, so imagine Susanoo's ult. Susanoo's ult, you know how it drags you into the center of it? That's what this does. But it does a lot of damage. It does tick damage, which I don't know why they don't put it on here. Tick damage or damage per tick. This takes a lot. I actually don't. Okay. Magical damage every 0.5 seconds for 3 seconds. That's 6 ticks. 55 times 6. Get a calculator. 55 times 6. 330. That's 330 damage. Almost always, because it's very difficult to get out of this, unless you have a movement speed buff. And also, plus 15% of your magical power. I usually only get to like 700 magical power on Poseidon. Sometimes 800 if the game goes on long and I get good pots. So yeah, that's a lot of damage. Also, almost the most important thing about this, which they don't put on here, this is a silence. Not a full silence, but a movement silence. You cannot leap, dash, or anything of the sort out of this. You're able to use movement speed buffs. You cannot Aegis in this also. You can't use relics. I think, for example, here's an example. Osiris's Scythe Throw. I'm pretty sure you can still use that in it. I don't believe it's a full silence, just a movement ability silence. So, Osiris can throw his Scythe, but he cannot use his ult in it, because his ult is a leap. So yeah, that's very important, because do that, and it'll be in a very important combo with his ultimate. His ultimate, probably the most broken thing in his kit. Wanna know why? Well, pretty much, Poseidon releases a Kraken from the ground, damaging and slowing. Damage, slow, bounce or knock up, and a stun. So pretty much 3. No able to get out. You can't use your relics in your 3. So pretty much you can't avoid this. You want to know why it's very important to avoid this? If you hit this accurately, 340 damage, plus 60% of your magical power. 60% of 800. My usual power. 480. 480 plus 340. Plus 340. I literally, I'm so stupid. Plus 340. 820 damage. This is an 820 damage ability, which you can't avoid. You cannot do anything. This is a slow. This is a stun. It's so bull. This is actually the stupidest thing. And the fact that they buffed Poseidon recently, it's what makes him good. It's like he's already got an insane wave clear. His passive gives him mobility. His ultimate is just tops it off. You can't get out of it. Combine your three, they can't Aegis, they can't beats, they can't do anything about it. And so just hit your ult accurately when they're in the three, and they're dead. They have to be like a freaking Kepri or Kabrakan to absorb it. I'm sure you've seen, if you haven't, I suggest you go watch my Poseidon mid gameplay, and that'll give you a good example. And so, that does it for the abilities part of this. Now let's get on to tips and tricks. I don't know why I moved on to stats. I thought it'd say something cool. It doesn't. So, pretty much, Poseidon is a very strong early game god. You want to poke your enemies a lot. And that's actually, depending on who your enemy is, you want to clear wave. You want to out-clear them no matter what you do. You want to make sure you use your 3, you use your 1, you clear the wave in like 2 seconds, and then you go and poke them. Of course, most mages have good wave clear, so they can do it also, but Poseidon's is really quickly. 3, 1, clear wave, use your 2, go poke them up, and then if they, say for example a Nox, and then the Nox turns and stuns you, I can't do much against that. Mainly because I have a build that I use that doesn't allow me to get beats. Because I get meditate because I'm not able to start out with bots. So, yeah. You want to be aggressive unless it's someone that can really shut you down. Here's the thing. You have mobility. You do not have quick. You do not have very instant mobility. You have speed. You do not have a dash. You do not have a leap. You cannot do that. And even so, your speed isn't all that well. It can get up to 35%, and that's if you're at max level. And once you're at max level, you're really not going to need the speed that you need in this scenario. It will still be very helpful with rotation, but not in this kind of scenario. You want to poke. You want to clear wave and poke. That's kind of all I can say. You also, once you reach level 5, ganking, and more ganking, you're pretty much a jungler. No matter what, your ult will do so much damage. It's insane. Your ult will do enough damage. I just played a game actually just a couple minutes ago. I was just hit level 5. Anubis I was playing against backed. And so I just was like, oh hey, I'ma just head over to duo lane. Went over to duo lane and got a double kill in about 10 seconds, made it back to my lane, and then continued waving like nothing ever happened. Your ult deals enough damage that at even just level 5, you can gank immediately. Whenever your ult's up and you don't, and your laner is not in your lane, head over to another lane, use that ult, and then get a kill or 2, and there you go. Also, wards. Poseidon needs wards a lot because of his little escape. You want to buy wards a lot. Just letting that out. And that's actually a problem that I have. I always forget to buy wards. So, yeah. Buy wards. After that, that's kind of laning phase. Gank a lot. Out clear as much as you can. Outside of laning phase. This is where I really try to give you some good tips. Laning phase is over. In every single team, there has to be a squish. You want to pick out a target. Outside of laning phase, you want to pick out a target that you just pretty much only ult them, unless it's a group fight and you can get like a double kill. You want to bully that person a lot and farm kills off of them. For example, a Neath ADC. You want to gank their lane early, usually, and then just kind of keep ganking them as much as you can. And then outside of laning phase, you go to that target, and you follow them around. You have wards up, so you will often know where they are. Just go there, even if you don't have your ult up. It's a 3, you're 1. There you go. That's my dog. I believe my parents are home. I'm gonna pause this for now.